Wow, sounds difficult. Well, we're gonna bring in a legend. He's the legendary snake. He's gonna help us out here.
Do you know him like personally, or is it
Yeah.
just someone off your stream?
No, I know him personally.
I bet.
Let's see if I could do anything, cause
I need to stop changing my name on this game. I'll be changing so much. But I'm probably gonna change it back to OG stuff. Lil J0513.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing Lil J. The new name, I'm not used to.
Yeah, I changed it. I had his Big Mama. I had his OG Young Tip. I had so many things.
Yeah, you good, bro. You good.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, you good. Go ahead. All right, guys, give me 1 second here. All right, see what we got here, guys. Okay. All right. Did you get the did you get on yet?
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I sent you an invite. I don't know if it went through.
Yeah,
Alright.
I just got it.
Oh, my bad. Oh, don't forget to turn your Discord off. So that way you don't lag in the game.
I mean,
You got the screen share on.
I mean, green. Yeah, game chat. My bad.
Oh, you're here. Shoot. My bad.
Yeah, I'm not streaming, so.
Yeah. And then she was talking about her. Oh, really?
Which one?
Hmm.
Hold on, bro.
We were
Okay. Oh, we gotta get ourselves situated here real quick, guys. All right. Did you guys want to get on Discord or? Yeah, don't forget to turn your screen share off, so that way you don't lag in the game.
It's not off?
Yeah. It's gonna be in the private chat. You got screen share still on.
Oh, it's in your. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It was in your
There
chat.
you go. Go ahead and just do voice. Like that screen button.
Like this one?
Yep. And stop sharing. Yep, there you go. Alright, let me see what James is doing here. Yo. I know I'm talking on Discord too, my bad, hold on.
Boomla caca.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What happened to my hotkey for Discord?
I don't know.
It's not good, man. Keybinds. Toggle mute, numpad. So why is it not?
So we talking on Discord?
Oh, now it's working.
If that's the case, I'm gonna turn all my game chat all the way up.
Yeah, I'd rather do Discord, but let me see what this dude's doing. He has Discord. Hold on, give me a second. Yo, James, you still there? Ah. Yeah, he has Discord. I used to play Call of Duty Mobile with him. And he made me jealous. Because his iPhone could use a mic on 2 different applications at once.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we gotta get you headphones on your PC, bro. For now, we'll just do game chat. That's fine.
Alright.
It's gonna be us 3 anyway.
Yeah, no, until I get that nice, good-looking mic.
Yeah, get that mic and then also get some headphones to plug into your computer. And you're all set, bro.
So, okay.
Alright, meet you on game chat. Yep. We'll just talk on here. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me too right there, Snake. Uh-oh. I hope my mic's working, though. Yo, Thomas, what's going on, bro? How are you, man? How's everything going? I think everything is pretty much okay here, guys, for the most part. Oh, I went live, right? Oh, there we go. Messed up. Okay, I think we're good. There we go. I hear somebody. What's going on?
Hola, ¿cómo estás, mi amigos?
Oh, nada, bien. ¿Y tú?
Locos.
Man, look at the time, guys. It's gonna be a short session. Something real quick. I'm good. About to watch The Walking Dead. Oh yeah, today's Sunday. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I've been catching up though, Thomas. I've been really catching up on the Walking Dead series. I know I was slacking for quite some time, guys, but we are actually catching back up, which is great.
That big ass silencer I got.
Let me lower this down just a bit more. All right, that way we can get some more screen here, guys. See what's up. All right, so what do we got? What's going on here? Are we all set there? You ready, James?
I'm gonna play, but I'm just on the phone.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. You ready there, Snake?
I bet.
All right, you guys. This is technically my second time playing Royale, so I kind of get the idea of it, but not 100%. So bear with me. But I'm ready to murder. Let's go. How the hell do I start play? This one. Yeah. Now our class is for multiplayer carries over, right? Yeah. Yeah, they're all here, guys, which is good. Fire! Yeah.
Create your classes, you get this out, and you...
Okay, sounds good.
Warzone is still a beta test.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I think the one time I was playing, none of my loadouts were there, and I was like, what the heck? I'm getting loaded, guys. Finally, we get to play some Warzone. Boom! Been waiting for this moment.
Ad tank.
Driving me crazy.
The ad tank.
Okay. Not bad.
You know what I mean? Chop runner, you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, look at that. You guys are both on PlayStation. Okay. By the way, Too Crazy. This is Solid Snake. Solid Snake. Too Crazy.
blah.
All right, we're going to have a team here going in, guys. I want to make sure we're fully ready, though.
Open for deployment. Now's a good time to warm up.
No! Yo, trying to warm it up, guys. We jumping in. Let's go.
It's time.
Let's do it. Oh boy. Gotta watch yourselves here, guys. Watch yourselves here. Somebody over there by the train tracks. Wow. Boom shakalaka mother chucker. Yo, who else do we have here, guys? Yo, let's watch ourselves here. Cool armor and everything, guys. Why is it doing that on me?
Warm-up's done. Time to kick this off.
Throwing stun!
Feels like it's not matching my screen. All right, here we go, guys. Here we have it. All right, good luck, team. You guys ready? I gotta bump up the party chat here, guys.
Battle Royale.
All right, comrades, where are we jumping?
Soldier. Mark a drop point for your team.
I don't know if I can hear you guys. I need you to talk a little louder. Compadres, I need to hear you. Read me over.
Downtown.
Where are we dropping? What's the LZ? Copy that. 1,000 meters out. Get ready for drop off.
You guys hear me okay?
Copy that. Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta. Let's go. Move, 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 move. Dog units, be advised. Heading to the LZ right now. 600 meters out. Over. Let's go, guys. We're jumping in. Let's do it. All right. Enemy tango spotted. Top of the rooftop. Over. 2 enemy tango spotted. Rooftop.
Crazy. Get you shot, I think, right? You wasn't getting shot at?
No, I'm not getting shot at. I'm chill.
Eliminate all
I'm
targets.
glad.
Wait for you, bro.
Whatever. Hell, man. Didn't even shoot me though, for real, but okay. Whatever. I gotta step my game up, guys. Slacking here, man. Let me position this monitor to where it's better for me here, guys.
Listen up, soldier. Win here and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're down. Sort them out or capture the objective.
This. Hey, Trix, you on live, right?
You gave them a proper
Yeah, I went on.
Oh, yeah, I was going.
All right, guys, I won the backup. I'm coming back in. Yo, where my team at? I gotta drop out to a different location.
I got two. He just knocked me.
No, watch it, solid. He's inside the building. There's 2 here. Get him down. I got you, solid. Come to me. That's how you do it, comrades. Let's go.
I already got 5 kills, bro. Go! Give me, I want a rocket launcher. Give me some rocket launcher soon.
Oh, shoot. Here, there's one right here, sir.
Already got it. Okay, soldier. We got
A sniper? No, I don't know what this is.
Got 2 G's on all that?
Oh my God. I'm gonna do something.
Let's watch it up with the scar here, guys. All right, let's move it on. All right, now I got some weapons. I could do something. Jeez. What gun is this? Oh yeah, this is a marksman rifle, guys. All right.
Teammate has been cleared for redeployment.
Oh, never mind.
Nice, nice, nice.
So bad.
Did you just get a melee kill in Goose?
I'm not gonna kill them.
Hey, I love it when they
But
just
you
stay
thought I
still.
was gonna
Like
do
they,
Oh, it's the best.
when they AFK, when they just stay still, they just go behind their backs and do that.
Right. All right, guys, we gotta hold it down.
Nah, you
Hold it down here, team. All right, do you hear anything solid? Oh, where are we at on the circle, though? Oh, we gotta continue north.
Oh, my God.
All right, we're all clear, guys. Head up north.
Closing in.
Let's grab some stuff here, guys.
You hear me well?
Oh, yeah, we hear you and the person you're talking to. Over.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Alright. Coming on your 6 o'clock here.
Copy it. You be on my 6 and I'll be on your 9. Over.
There you go.
Thank you.
Alright. Let's head for the store.
Copy that. There's another chest nearby.
Hey, better Wi-Fi.
Tango spotted.
Hey, do you
Northbound.
guys have a loadout?
Oh, snake. I'm gonna go around the building. Inside the building, I repeat. Careful. Where was he, guys?
Inside this building, right?
Did one of you shut the door, or was that somebody else? Okay, because I'm outside and... Oh!
I got him. Oh, right here. Can you grab me before I die?
Oh, you're both down. Shoot.
Oh, it's 2 people.
Teammates in the gulag. If they
You should
survive,
be
they
able
can
to
redeploy.
get buy us right there. The shop. You can buy your friend
Oh, I
first.
hate this Magnum 357.
Alright, well I guess your friends are.
Wait, how do I get you guys? Oh, never mind. I got it.
Deployment.
Woo, that was so close, bro.
Don't let my points go to vain, Darren. Too crazy.
I almost died.
Yeah, that guy came behind you guys, but don't worry. I got him for you.
Hey, used to be a decoy.
Careful at the stadium.
Got your plates in there.
What is it?
All right, there's some weapons over here, guys, if you want them.
Armor plate for someone. Trix, I got an armor plate for you.
Okay, it's okay. I got some.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, I don't have the best sniper scope here.
AR ammo?
Right there?
Oh, wait. Circle. AR ammo? I don't know. How do we drop ammo? Hold on. Oh, yeah, I got it. Where you at, crazy? Hold on.
Right.
Wait, take that.
Thank you.
All right, don't put the good use. Let's go. All right, solid. Anything?
Gotta get money and get some
I'm moving.
ammo kits right here.
Okay.
Oh. Wait.
Going this way.
There's a chopper outside. Be careful.
In the chopper.
You said sniper?
Check it upstairs. You guys, are we clear?
I'm on the roof.
Hey, scare the heck out of me, bro. Woo! Trigger happy here, guys. All right, we gotta hold it down. And we're gonna hold it down. It's exactly what we're going to do here.
Do you guys have a thermal gun or no?
Negative.
Loadouts.
Alright.
I'm going to the left side.
Loadout drop inbound.
Nice. That's pretty far out there, too.
I have eyes on a care package.
People's gonna go for that.
Yeah.
Get to the new safe zone.
If we go for it,
Yep.
one at a time.
They're gonna be westbound, so be careful.
I agree. Do you want to go first? Too crazy?
Yeah, I can go first.
Get a little.
We gotta be very cautious here, guys. But we're gonna hold it down, and we got this. All right, anything, guys? We're good.
Yeah, I'm here.
Man, that's in a wide open too.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Trick, get the loadout box.
Okay, I'm going.
Yep, enemy right here.
Hostile.
Oh, one in the far back.
Shield. Another shield.
On me, on me.
Oh, to the side, to the right.
He's coming right here. Around your back. Watch your back.
Enemy contact.
That's stupid. We can't shoot while we're down, though. Hmm.
Expert spotted.
Dang it, man. People so lucky in this damn game. You got this, Solid. Nice and easy, bro. Man, right when I got my loadout too, guys, we got taken down. That is crazy.
45 to be live, right?
Yeah, you're good. No, I'm down. No, we're all down. Nice.
My God.
There you
Where's
go.
it coming from?
You ain't got no more platings?
Hand. Oh, hands are sweaty.
By the way, you're close to the ring. Don't rush it. All right, let's see what we got here, guys. I'm just glad that the game's actually working. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to play Warzone for the longest time, guys, and finally, we're here, and we're playing it. How exciting is that? What's up, Jay? All right, nice and easy, guys. Nice and easy. Ooh, buddy. Good stuff. All right, so Solid's getting...
Press up. Or, I don't know what button it is, but show me.
Hey, what happened?
Controller, you can press. Oh, there we go.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, my bad. It might be a hot spot though, so make sure you check your surroundings.
I left.
Oh, that's in a wide open too. I died, yeah. I don't know how I did though. How does it show? Where does it show like my kills and stuff? Oh, it shows it up there. I think. Or I don't know. Maybe it's only like one on my screen. Yeah, I don't see my where does it show like our kills? Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness, I'm coming in.
Gas is inbound.
Run. Get to the zone.
Get the armor plating on, guys. Alright, any ammo around here or weapons you seen? Oh, I see some. I'm gonna go grab some real quick. Alright. Alright. I got something for now. Shoot. Snipers. I ain't gonna do much with this, guys. Press tab. Yeah, I don't think tab does it. Oh, we're in the wide open, bro.
I got shield.
Behind me, behind me. Oh. Behind you, Sally, be careful. He's behind me, behind the rock. Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm in trouble. And I'm a goner. He's gonna be on your right, Sally. Careful. You got two on your right.
That one. Come back stronger next time.
They got you? Hey, we're waking up though, so that's cool. Right? I know there is a way to check your kills, just not sure how. Yeah, it's weird. I don't care about any of this. Just take me back to the damn game. What the hell happened here?
Damn.
Hey, you know what though? We did all right. Yeah, I did my first revive. Didn't even know I had to click on you guys. That was my bad. I'm over here. I almost clicked self revive kit by accident. And I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. I'm like, self revive kit would be self revive, and I was like, oh, look at the names. Let me click on those, and there you go. What place did we get?
Got the 10 kills. La la la.
Oh, kick you from the party. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's all good though. All good, guys. Hey, what's going on? How are ya? Ay, 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 ay. All right, I don't think Too Crazy's coming back in here. Yeah, I don't know what Too Crazy's doing. He's kind of taking a long time here. Did you wanted to bring in here, Snake?
Sorry.
Yeah. And Thomas, man, oh, he's gone. I was gonna say forever. We've been trying to add each other for the longest time. I'm just happy that this is actually working, you know? Crazy, man. Did you see the friend request? Nope. Solid, do you know anything about that? Like, when people try to add you, it doesn't work? Do you know, like, a workaround with that? Because I got somebody on PlayStation trying to add me, and they can't add me.
Yeah, I have a trouble doing that too.
Friend request 0.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. Thomas, type me your name real quick. I'll go ahead and add it in. All right, let's go ahead and try to get us a third here. Let's try to get us a third here, guys. We're going to do this. Okay. Thomas, what's your username? Nightmare265. I'm just going to copy and paste that because I'm lazy. That's exactly what I am. Completely freaking lazy. All gamers are lazy. To an extent. Alright, I just sent you a friend request and it failed. It said no. Because I need to add you under PlayStation. It said failed. Sent invites. I gotta find you here and remove it. And then we gotta do it again. Wherever you are. Where the hell is it? What the? Thomas, where are you at, bro? Activision account. I'm just gonna do Activision. No. PlayStation. You sure it's not a capital N? What the fudgesicles? Yeah. I don't know, Thomas. You add me, bro. You just add me. My name is quite easy. It's right. It's well, when you add me, what do I have to have you click? I don't remember. I think you just added me under just my username. That's very crazy. Yeah, I have no idea, bro. They just dipped on you, bro? That's shady. Solid Snake reporting in. What's up, Solid Snake? There he is. Yeah, one of your buddies came in and dipped.
Oh,
The whole Blizzard ID? Nah. But yeah, no, but Thomas is on PlayStation, so I don't know why. Normally, I would do friend requests. No. I would click add friends, send invite. And I'm supposed to find Thomas on here and remove it, but I don't see Nightmare256. Oh, he needs my whole Blizzard ID and number. Wow. Well, you can add me on Xbox. Same thing. They're linked. Yeah. What time is it? Oh, yeah. Let's get through this, guys. We're going to get through this once and for all. And we got this. Surprisingly, the game ran pretty fine for me. I'm shocked. I thought I was going to, like, lag or something, you know? Give me 1 second.
because I got 10 kills.
Right. Yeah, bro, how do we check our kills? Like, how did you see it? I couldn't find mine.
Should be a scar on your right hand top screen.
Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe because when I was spectating you, I can't see mine. I gotcha.
Yeah, you see mine. Vaya.
He's a gamer. Right.
Oh, wait.
Gamers like discounts. We like deals. All right. We don't want full price. Just like any Xbox Live right now, guys. And it's too expensive. So I have to wait. Yeah, while the servers were down, bro, I was literally tempted to play this on Xbox. Yes, it would feel better on a big 4K screen TV but
I'm not even playing on a 4K TV.
yeah, but it's all good, man. I'm cool with my, I think this is what, a 24-inch?
I'm playing on 1020 right now.
Oh, there you go.
It's fork.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how PlayStation do it, but I think you can play at higher refresh rate if you play it at the lower res. Yeah, I'll get us a third maybe. Let me see.
Oh, I thought he was doing this whole time.
Oh no, I thought you were getting somebody because I think Too Crazy got on, but I also see Chaos is on. They're probably in a party together. So if I invite one, they're both gonna want to join. So we might have to leave that out. Yeah, I would love to play on a 32-inch TV, but I can't because I can't do past 60 FPS if I do that.
Like, I don't want to play that game.
Yeah, he's something else, bro. Yeah, he complains nobody plays with him, but then he doesn't want to play with other people. Like, pretty much if it don't go his way, he doesn't want to play. Like, I used to play with Speedy all the time, man. We used to have a good run, good time, but I don't think he likes this Call of Duty that much. He wasn't really into this one as much as he was with the other ones. Like, I think...
Played it too much.
Yeah, I think Black Ops he liked.
Played it too much that he got all the gold.
Yeah, see, that's what happens when you play the same game every day. Yeah, I don't even have one gold gun yet. I'm just gonna invite one of these guys. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. You can't get much past 60 FPS anyways, right? Yeah. Well, in this game, right now it shows 60 at the top for me because I'm at the main menu. But when I play in game, I go for like 120 hertz. I'm usually pretty cool with that. Yeah, I do about 120 hertz in game, and then I just do 60 at the main menu and out of focus, blah, blah, blah. It's all good. Oh, The Walking Dead. Look at that. These guys are just doing their own thing. What the heck is going on? Where everybody at, man? Oh, everybody's in matches. Jay, let me get you in here, bro. Alright. I'm gonna invite one of my Twitch mods with us, bro, because everybody else is procrastinating on these invites. They don't know how to accept.
Hey.
There's Jay Jim. Well, he's been in your channel too, Solid. You know J13. Jim, your character almost looked like your Division character. What's a coincidence of that? All right, we're good to go. I think you're the host, Solid, so whenever you're ready. You're gonna need to carry me. You're good. Solid's here. Solid's a beast. He's a beast at this game. Yeah, see, like right now I'm looking at my chatters right now too, Solid. I got the same thing. I got what is it? Commander Root. Oh, VidBot's another one you might want to block. You guys are awesome. There's a lot of you in here lurking too. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Oops.
Your back hurts from carrying everyone? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. How do you get rid of your phone and task manager? Just end task? I would assume. That sounds like it's just like a Windows 10 app. Like your phone, you plug it in and it like lets you link things or whatever. Yeah, you can disable that. You don't have to have that running. If it doesn't let you, there's something wrong on your end, bro. Like I said, remember before, you're having like permission issues. All right, what's the plan here, boys? It keeps coming back. It's in your Windows 10 App Store. I think it's called Your Phone. You can delete it, remove it. All right, guys, here we go. We're doing a little pre-workout warm-up here. Let's get it.
Hold it for deployment. Now's a good time to warm up.
All right, let's get this warm-up, boys. kind of gun they got us using here? Shotguns and pistols? What the heck? Damn, Solid, go easy on the poor man.
Warm-up's done. Time to
Oh, you
kick
saw
this
that?
off.
Yeah, you murdered him, dude. All right, guys, we're getting loaded into the battle zone. Oh, yeah, it said it kicked him out.
Drop point for your team.
Ah, shoot. Yeah, let's back out before we start.
Safe zone.
That's one. Oh, shoot. Yeah, all right, try it again. Yeah, Jay, hopefully this is not an ongoing occurrence. I think it's just, yeah, I think we all have, like, our own list of issues. I think Jay gets, like, a disconnection issue pretty often, I think, with the servers. Let's try it again. Go ahead and just start it up. Oh, error message. Wow, yeah. It could just be the game. I know Warzone being beta and all.
Yeah, it's the game.
Why am I so hungry right now? Everything's probably closed. And also, guys, make sure you keep up to date on your local lockdowns and whatnot. I think every state now is doing different lockdowns and stuff, so be careful. It's just a COD. Ooh, what if we replace that D for something else? I don't know if you see that coming. that was lame. Anyway, food hype is real. Dude, whenever I get extra cash, and Solid, you might want to do this with me too. But I'm gonna go on those websites and just like order a bunch of like graphics, bro, and just get somebody to make some stuff. I need somebody who can make graphics, guys. Who wants to work for me?
Grab the target package while you can.
Pay $1 per item.
You're done warming up. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Man, bro, I was missing. What the heck? All right, Jim, you still here with us, Jim? What output scale do I have? Just, you know, your average standard native resolution. Why, is it bad? Wait, go! Let's get it, guys. Let's get it. All right, where we going, boys?
Alright, soldier. Mark a drop point for your
Solid, I'd rather you call the job since you're an expert at this. You are a legendary snake. Where we going here, snake? We need a drop zone, drop zone. All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right, are we gonna make it? Woo! Look at us flying in the air! Yay! I hate this game. What happened, Jay? Oh, don't tell me you got booked. Wait, did we lose Jay?
Yeah, we lose them again.
Again? Jay, yeah, it sounds like you need to do something with your thing.
What are we doing back in our...
Yeah, let's try it one more time. Let's give it a third time's a charm. This was a good drop, too. Game crash? Yeah, I think... Jay, you might have to play it on Xbox, bro. 1280 or something? Yeah, if you can, keep it on 1280, bro. I mean, don't do anything too high, because especially over here where you're at, because it ain't gonna cut it, bro. The higher everything you put, the higher bitrate resolution, it's gonna lag, dude. People be trying to go live with like 60 FPS, 1920, 1080, and like 6,000 bit rate. People ain't gonna be able to watch that. You need to cut that down a bit. It's live, you know, it's not gonna be precise. You know, you're not running through like a cable company provider or anything like that. Like the upload is coming straight from your system or from your setup, or let's just say your location to the server, to your platform that you're uploading the stream information to. You don't want it to be too high. Yeah. Oh, your game, whatever you do, keep it whatever you want, man. It's just what you upload it to. That's where you need to do a lot of configuring. All right, let's try to get Jay back in here real quick. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Could just be all right, Jay. So what happened with this one? The last one you said it gave you an error code. Did you give you one again? Because I know you said the game crashed this time, correct? Yeah, no, you're right. There's not that many OBS knowledge people on here. Everybody and even when I do my mobile streams, I keep it a little, well, more sophisticated than usual, than normal. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, when they do their mobile streams, it's like just straight game capture image. Like, I don't know. Like if you don't put effort into your stream, then obviously, why are you streaming? You know, I mean, I understand people want to go live and share their gameplay. That's not all what it is. You know, there's more to it. Like me, when I go live, I'm with my community. Like I'm here with my viewers. Like I have a Discord. We stick together. We bond. We click. Yeah. Go ahead and start it up. Granted, our channel used to be boosting. Like back in the day, we were banging back in the day. Granted, I became a little inactive. Things got a little slowed down. There is a lot of things I need to do, but in the meantime, I enjoy what I do. Yeah, I play video games, but I have I'm very community focused. Like I'm here to like keep my community together. You know, I'm not the best guy out there. I'm not the most entertaining. I don't have like the most crazy background or, you know, being like these like top-notch streamers or whatnot. But if I really wanted to, I could do that. You know, but that stuff requires really good graphic knowledge or having somebody to make it for you. And it can cost a lot of big bucks. Yeah, you're okay, Gopnik. You're okay. Yeah, just keep it up, man. But you're right, there's not that many on here. I'm glad to see that you're doing it. Hold on, time out. What happened? What the? Solid? What the heck just happened? Jim Carrey has problems. Oh, speaking of Jim Carrey. Yo, what happened there, Solid? I was watching a movie and I didn't know Jim Carrey was in it, guys. And it was amazing. I think it was actually a really, really cool looking movie. Actually wasn't too bad at all. Yeah, speaking of green screen, guys. I actually ended up cleaning it today. I you know, took like the, you know, I had to get all the wrinkles out. I had to clean it up, all that good stuff. I do have the long hair, so sometimes when I walk by it, I get like my hair on it. You gotta make sure we get it cleaned up, guys, so we're all good. Yeah, Solid, what happened back there, bro? It just said like you just left. Oh, why are we at 75 ping? Hold on. 75 is doable. We can stick to it. You want your tactical vest on a green screen? Just make sure it ain't red. Or you're gonna have Dr. Disrespect coming after you. Well, sometimes he does black, I think. Black or red, right? Oh, gosh. All right, are we all here? right, guys, we gotta be careful. Get that warm up. Get that warm up. Get that warm up.
Throwing grenade.
Oh! Man, get out of here, dude. You ain't good. Coming up behind me while I'm in the middle of a gunfight. Go somewhere with that. Got me with that. You got me with that. How could you? Ain't nobody about to come behind me no more. Waiting for a lobby, guys. You think we got the lobby in?
Warm up's done. Time to kick this off.
Oh, I kicked him again. Why is it doing this? Sounds like it's his internet. Oh, your green screen's on a coat hanger.
Mark a drop point for your team.
Never use it to broadcast? Gotcha. Hey, you know what? As long as you got it hanged up, it doesn't matter, man. Sorry, Jay. Screw it, bro. I say let's just go for it. I feel bad. Jay's having, like, connectivity issues. It's up to you. Do you want to get a third or do you want to keep going? Yeah, I don't know, Jay, because I'm playing with no problem. Today, anyway. Yeah, just do the Xbox, bro. Oh, careful, Solid. I see you shooting them in the air, bro. Damn, we got 4 going inbound, bro. 4 of them. You got one on to your right. One to your right. He's on the other side of the house.
Being tracked by an enemy team. Stay sharp.
I'm just gonna land right here in this house, guys. Screw it. I'm going for it.
All right, lads. Let's get it done.
Give me a weapon. Give me a weapon, man. Give me a weapon. Give me something to shoot. Wow. Wow. That is all it gave me. What a ripoff. Let me tell you.
Hey, I'm being hunted.
Man. I don't have the best stuff, bro. Where you being hunted at? Where you at? I'm coming. I only got a pistol, though, but hey. Oh, man. They got machine guns up there, bro. Holy mackerel. Oh, I'm over here trying to slide like Apex. That ain't gonna work. Wow, nothing in there. Careful, Solid. Yeah. Dang, bro. I landed in a bad spot. Yo, what's over here? Seriously? Nothing at all. Let me check this house real quick. Come on, come on. Bunch of ammo, really? Anything here? No, nothing. Can't leave Solid by himself, man. All right, Solid, are you able to come over here or no? Where are we at on the map there? Oh, you're at the house. Sweet. Wow, man. Straight up not miss. All right, I think the one you're shooting at got me. He's to my left of the tree. Oh. Careful, there's a car coming. Car's on top of the hill. Yep. I'm behind a bush. Oh, one by you. Careful. I'm probably gonna go down. Don't worry about me. I got like 2 seconds. Oh man. Oh. Oh, the clutch. Dude, we gotta do it. Bro, there's nothing in these houses, bro. I already looted them up.
I know. Take an ATV and go somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Take it. Let's go.
I'll take the wheel.
Go. Wow, contract completed. Yeah.
I'll ride for cover.
Okay.
I'll drive.
I'll ride for
All right, let's go. All right, at least these buildings will be able to get something. Yeah. Do me a favor, James. Try to do a regular match. Maybe you're only having issues with Warzone. You're gonna try to pick. Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, dude. Let's check around for stuff. Let's go. Let's loot up.
Come on.
And there's nothing here. What the hell? Yeah, I was gonna say. Dang it, man.
Supply box located. Move to secure.
Box right there.
Box.
The hell was it in the elevator or something? Oh, finally a weapon.
Huh?
Oh, never mind. It's another handgun. Okay. Let's just go upstairs real quick, guys.
Mission's right here.
I'm moving.
Better than nothing, man.
Objectives updated. Move to the next.
All right. I got some weapons. Not the best in the world, but... I'm gonna keep the trophy system on me.
Yeah, right middle of it.
Hey, Gomnick, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Objectives updated. Move to the next location.
Well, chopper above us. Oh, behind us. Man, people get lucky in this game mode, I swear to God. That is crazy, bro. Alright, we've been captured, guys. No, we do, Gomnick, but I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a challenge. Just take a look at the gaming section, bro. Nobody cares. But they do. They really do. They really do.
Soldier, win here and you return to the front line.
All right, so we got grenades. We have a satchel.
Sort them out or capture the objective.
Come on!
Bringing you home.
A stupid aim assist. Look at that. Wow, man. He shot me once. I see one shot out of that.
You'll buy your release.
Dude got me with aim assist. Huh?
Seen that?
What?
Now, how the hell you took me down so quick?
Right.
Lag got me right there, dude.
Oh, no. That's true. That's true. Yeah, like I'm on here all the time, but there's no networking. None of the broadcasts on here really network. Just be careful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think starting a nice little group, like a dedicated loyal group, would be nice if they're wanting to do it. But it's hard to do. No, Solid. What happened?
You pay!
I'll stop the meeting.
What the hell? What just happened? What time is it? I need to charge my phone, guys. We need to charge my phone. Why is it only at 80-some%? Yep. Right, very true. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's. I think a lot of people got like maybe played in the past, misused or whatever. And I think a lot of them really take the whole, the support for one another. They get misled, especially because some of these platforms, the way they go about with it, like let's be real, like some even like on here, like it's not what you think it is. Like their system or whatever it is they got is for a whole different ball game. It's not for gamers. But yeah, somebody's got to show the example for them and tell them what's going on with that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and try to join Solid's game. We'll probably do one more, guys. I think I only got time for like one more. Did it work for you? Wait. What the heck? It happens on everything. Call him Jim Carrey. I'll try a solo match and see if it crashes. It will take a day to download it on Xbox. Ouch. Oh, what happened, bro? Yeah, no, honestly, that dude, when he jumped out the chopper, one of them came behind us and got us. I mean, I just gotta get used to this whole Warzone technique. Like, everybody's everywhere, bro.
Taking them down like flies.
Yeah, true, very true, Gobnik. You got it. Yeah, see, you know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm
Right.
automatic hosting you
Yeah,
right now.
not regular mobile games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do mobile gaming, but I have a chat system. I do things more accordingly. Like, I've seen people just stream mobile games and only have their screen on their phone and that's it. Like, they'll have no webcam. They don't chat. It's like, nah, not acceptable. Okay, okay, so it looks like J13's having a lot of issues, and not just on here. What's up, Ninja Blackman? How are you? Not just on here, but like on other modes as well, where he would just crash. So I think there's something going on with his game. I think he just needs to reinstall it, maybe.
I got what you said. I got one killed, then got shot twice and died on some bull.
Ouch. Good. Yeah, we're doing good there, Ninja. How are you, man?
Just like what happened to me, right? I got shot twice. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Speedy came in here for a second. He was watching us, but he didn't come and help us. He didn't say nothing. He was quiet.
Gotta make him watch. I'm gonna have to make a deal. When I buy you something, you play the game.
Right. I know, Jay, but that's PC gaming, though, bro. Sometimes you just gotta reinstall the games. To me, it sounds like you got something going on with your computer, bro. Oh, you played a solo match and it worked fine? Huh, let's take a look here. Oh, maybe it'll be a charm. Hold on, Jay. Let me get you in here. Yeah, I'll probably do like one more match. Let's try Jay again, see what happened. He said he did a solo match and he did fine. It's a network issue. Or you know what? How about this? Jay, you host the match. Me and Solid would join you. That might be the problem. What's everybody's NAT? If you haven't already, make sure you know how to deal with like DMZ host mode on your routers, or just make sure you have your network address translation actually set to open, not moderator strict. And you might have to like port forward some of the ports for the servers for the game. Yeah, once you guys do that, you should be fine. Ever since I've done it, I never have a network issue ever again.
I got type 2, NAT type 2.
NAT type 2? What the hell is that? It should be moderate, strict, or open.
I don't know, kids, we gotta remember,
Yeah. Hold on. Where the hell is my NAT type? Where is it at?
I don't want to play that game so bad. It's off.
Yeah, my NAT type's open, which is good. I got no packet loss, 0%. It's not gonna show me latency right now, but we'll find this all out when we're in game. Okay. Yeah, but it seems like you crashed during matchmaking, and that's what makes me think it's a NAT issue. Jay, go to settings, hit account, look to the bottom right, see what your NAT type is, and you too, Solid.
Open.
Yeah, no problem, Ninja. Yeah, go for it, bro. My NAT is open as always. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, Jim's open. You're open. Yeah, should be fine. I would just say, just for giggles, just let Jay host this round. Jay, go ahead and host. We're gonna join you, okay?
Yeah.
That way you'll be the we'll be in your party rather than you're at us. Okay. What the heck? Hold on, we're all gonna leave, and then Jay, oh, he left. Okay, cool. We're gonna join Jay here real quick.
Let's do
Okay.
this.
All right, we're all here. Jake, go ahead. Let's go for it. If it kicks us out now, even with all of us being open, it could just be Warzone.
Yeah, that probably is a server.
Yeah. Well, I know Blizzard had problems this entire week because they were getting denial attacks the entire week. And with the employees working at home and supposedly, I guess, whatever their excuse is, but they're trying to fix it, so we'll see. Yeah, people hacking the... Yeah, it's weird too because Blizzard's like a really big popular server host. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got Overwatch, you got League of Legends. Like, they're like the top games in multiplayer, and to have those servers hacked, that's bad. All right, Gabnick, you get some rest. Yeah, anything about it more, just let me know. You know, we'll try to see what we can do here. The hitboxes, I have no idea, bro. It's aim assist and there's latency lag, so it's COD. it's Call of Duty. What we're gonna do? Yeah. Oh, and World of Warcraft. Yeah, that's another one. Jeez. All right, guys, here we go. Let's do it. All right, Jay, how we looking? Everybody in the game?
We're deploying to.
All right, it looks like Jay's in the game, so that's good. Jump back in, guys. Go, 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 go. Boom, shaka like a mother trucker. Oh man, that recoil though. Yeah, I'm so happy Jay was able to get in, guys. So happy Jay was able to get in. What the hell? Oh, I was about to say. Woo. All right, Jay, you still with us, bro? You still with us, Jay? Give us a sign. J13, it's about time. Jay's with us, guys. Jay's with us outright. Knock, knock. What's the knock, knock? Uh-oh, we got the knock, knock. All right, where we going, boys?
You'll lead them in. Gas is closing on your position. Just get...
All right, well, we got to do it. We got to do it. Where do you like? You like the stadium? You like the downtown? Okay, downtown. Let's go.
Not there. That's our target.
Oh, okay. Yep. Whatever you guys want to go.
I think it should be like all day today. You can get this far.
We're gonna go straight down on this one, guys. We're gonna have a couple there already. And I fail miserably.
Your primary objective is to kill them all.
Come on, 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 give me a whip it, give me a fucking dick, whip it, man. No. Dude, get out of my way. The hell is this? Shotgun? Shotgun. Better than nothing, yo. We got fire here, guys.
ID on the bounty target. Sort them out.
Alright, man. We got the vault down here, which is cool. Alright, I'm down at the vault. Oh, we got some gold. But it's useless down here. We got some gold chest, though. Or blue chest. Yeah, it's interesting. Not the best weapons in the world, but hey.
Been down here.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, that target
Upstairs, upstairs. Wow. All right, one took the elevator upstairs, guys. Watch it. Behind you, solid. I heard the doors, or that might have been upstairs. Solid on my left. All right, good stuff, bro.
I hear people coming.
Yeah, they're gonna be up top, I think. Where are we at on the map? Oh, dude, we're dead center, bro. Oh, one to our left. Southeast, careful. Careful, Jay. Yeah, let's get a better position. This is a dangerous area.
We're at the stairwell.
Wow, dude. Go somewhere with that. Wow. Man. There was way too many people there. Yikes. Woo. Yeah, we're all down, bro.
If you survive, you earn your freedom. Fight's ready.
You know that dude's happy. He's jumping up and down on a dildo right now.
Way.
He's enjoying his day.
Your enemy is an effective way to get inside their heads.
Punch somebody in the face. Punch you in the face. Come here. Come here. I hate you. Come here. Mother trucker mopo. You like mothers? Huh? Huh? Yeah? You like fathers too, don't you? Come here. Get away from me with that shenanigans. Go somewhere with that. Yeah, get out of my face. Get out of my face. Alright, that's enough with that, guys. Let's watch a fight.
Sorted. We're sending them over.
Alright, here we go. Are we all getting out of here?
Soldier, win here and you return to the front line. If you lose, you're done. Time to earn your freedom, soldier.
Boom! 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 That's how you do it! Alright, I'm coming back in, boys. We're second redeployment here, guys.
Got gas moving in.
Alright, we got some weapons up here, which is good. Nothing's better than nothing. I don't know what the hell is wrong with my, let me move these things out my way.
Got enough to get Jay.
Objective is to eliminate the bounty target.
Hey, press up, Kios is at.
Jay, press the tab button on your keyboard. Kipper there, southwest, solid. J13, press the tab key.
Right here.
Up.
Send them up.
Cars.
I can drive.
Alright, you okay with it, solid? Yeah, that's done. He got us though, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's alright. I mean, some people get lucky, you know, they get lucky. It is what it is. I mean, it's very unfortunate for us. But what are we gonna do?
I'll take the wheel.
It's not much we could do there, guys, but we got this. Don't worry. Alright, is he coming back in? Sweet.
Yeah.
Alright, Jay's on me. Northwest. Alright, guys, here we go. We're moving in. Let's go. Let's get it. Watch my back. Alright, there's a blue chest nearby. Front doors.
Claymore set.
Oh, solid's almost down, guys. Oh, you good?
Right in front.
Come on.
That door to the left, you got the barricade.
So, Jay, watch any other entrances that's coming in here.
Each other up there, dude. Oh shit.
Yeah, sounds like an army out there, bro. We just gotta watch the back doors. Surprised they're not trying to come in.
So
way. Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
It might be at the front door, Jason. Be careful. How we looking, Solid? You need revive, right? Did you mark the store for us? All right, we got you, bro.
Down over here.
All right, I think we're clear here, Jay. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, that guy's gonna go for the same thing, Jay. Let's go out through the back door. I'm gonna grab my claymore again. Hold on. Oh. Wow! No. Just get him first, Jay. Oh shoot.
Claymore set.
Shoot, that was close. How am I getting stuck on things?
We've got gas moving in.
Okay, we're inside. Scan for movement.
All right, he's down. Let's book it out of here. Mark that again for us here, Solid.
Get me up. I'm down over here.
Jay, behind us where we were.
Bloody hell, I need medical.
Get your weapon that you want to use. Hyper. Yeah.
Get me up. I'm down over here.
Yeah, bro, your curse is crazy as hell.
Oh, I'm on it, bro.
Soldier. Victory rests on your shoulders. Finish the mission.
Dang it, I tried to get Jay, man. I couldn't save him.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
Armor up. 500.
Oh, I need money.
Armor up.
Dang it.
Come back stronger next.
Wow. How did I not have money to revive you guys? Oh, I tried. I'm sorry, guys. I failed.
You got him down with the claymore.
Yay! Woo!
Is he gonna die?
That's right. I'm gonna watch him die. Yeah! Woo! I feel better now.
He died.
Yeah.
Party leader.
How did I do? I got 6 kills. Ooh, ooh. Oh, this sucks, man. I like Warzone, bro. It's pretty good. Oh, dang it. Oh gosh, yo, that was great, guys. But unfortunately, I gotta get going. So thank you guys. Thank you for everything. I know this was like really short, but we're gonna be back again. Yes, 4,500 for a revive. I didn't pay attention to my points, and I should have armored up. I keep forgetting about the armor, man. Yeah, I'm gonna head out. I'm definitely down this week to get on some more of this, guys. We need to squad up. Jay, we gotta figure out what's going on. I might have to work on Jay's computer and see what's going on because I know he's been having other issues as well, not just the game. I had 3,700. Wow. But how come I didn't get like more money after killing those guys? And then don't they drop money?
Sometimes they broke.
Man, they were that broke. Man, I thought I was cheap. Jeez, I couldn't even get a big chicken with those guys.
Yeah, you got that. You still killed that guy.
Told you, bro. I'm great with claymores, bro. Like people hate me for them.
Yeah, I know. Beyond the grave.
I'm that pull that scorpion. Get over here. Yeah, no, damn, Jay was down too. I left, came back in, saw his cross, needed a revive. I just killed the guy right when he killed him. I was like, oh. I didn't know Jay was in the building. I was like, I left, came back in. I was like, oh shoot, Jay's still in there. I gotta help him. Nah, but my guys, we did good though. I mean, we held down that building and then we went to the next building and it was hard. And so I can't. Huh? Yeah. Ah, Big Turkey 216. Is that who I think it is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, you caught me right when I'm getting off, bro. Oh.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel bad. Yo, I'll be on tomorrow though. If you're.
No, you're good.
I gotta add you real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
How,
I'm gonna send you my number too. I have some questions I gotta ask you also about streaming.
Yeah, no problem. I just helped Solid out. Solid's a good friend of mine. I've known him for many years, and so are you. So yeah, just message me, bro. I got you.
Oh, definitely. I just played with your brother. What was it?
My brother playing video games. Hold on. Say that again. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that quite good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'll hit you up, man.
All right. Yeah. Just
You can stay germ free.
Yeah, I'm trying to, man. I'm trying not to get the big germ. I'm trying to get the small germs. Make sure I'm good.
Right.
All right, bro. Yeah, just message me and I got you, bro.
All right.
All right, man. Big Turkey. How do I add him? Hold on. I gotta add him. Shoot. I used to play Call of Duty with him back in the day. What was it? Recent, right? Forever? No. How do I do recent players? Oh, it's not even showing their names. It was right there. Big Turkey, right? What was it? Big Turkey 216. All right, hold on. All caps too. I think he's on Xbox. Hold on, let me see. Big Turkey. Oh, it failed. Hold on. Maybe I already have them added. I think I do. Oh, I have them already. Okay. Okay, guys. I need to disable so many tasks on your Windows 10. I know, Jay, we're going to go through it, bro. This week, I will have some time. Jay, I got to do a conference with you and then Big Turkey. We're going to go ahead and try to get him as well. Solid, thank you so much, dude, for joining. I really do appreciate it, guys. And as always, guys, shout out to the subscribers out there always coming in, supporting the channel. You guys are awesome. Without you guys, we just wouldn't be here live streaming, period. Okay, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Let's keep it going. Guys, also, if you're subscribing, make sure you, get your bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? Definitely put your sub anniversary in the chat. Let the stream know that you're here to be here and you're here to support us here with the Trix Gaming community, guys. And again, thank you. for those that donated, for those that contributed like video games, money, cash, or just like keys, games, stuff like that, yo, you guys are awesome as well. I really thank you guys for everything. And just for those that come in here and just chat, guys, ongoing chatting is like the best thing ever. Nobody wants to be in a quiet chat. I really appreciate those who come in here and have conversations with us, guys. It's really amazing.
Excuse me.
What?
Sorry for interrupting. You said Trix community. You mean Trix and Sharklore community? Because they're supporting me and you.
Let's do that with like that leather set. You know when you stretch leather like that. He walks away. But yeah, and Little Man too, guys. You guys help Shark Lloyd a lot too. I know those times he hasn't had an Xbox Live. You guys came in here. They said Little Man's fired.
You're fired. Yeah, whoever said that.
Oh gosh. All right, Jay. We'll be doing some mobile gaming again later, guys. For those that are here right now, you need to get on Discord. Give me your suggestions. Now, there are games I want to clear up, get it done, so we can move on to the next games.
And guys, you're not only supporting him also by being subscriber.
So yeah, when they subscribe, they're paying $5 a month.
Okay.
Or higher, depending on their tier package. Like right now, Solid, he's our GOAT subscriber. He pays $20 a month to be in our channel.
So guys, when you're in our channel and you subscribe, you're not only in donating and stuff, you're not only helping my dad, but you're also...
Oh, you guys hear that? So yeah, so for the father and for the son, you guys are helping a family. It's not like I'm doing a commercial. But you guys, your contributions go a very long way. And again, he wants to say thank you, and I want to say thank you because you guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely amazing at what you guys have been doing here for us. Commercial time, right? Absolutely. Woo, woo. But yeah, guys, things are great. Man, I was just having so much fun, but I got to get off. I got to get going. You know, we have to get going, guys. After these commercials, we'll be right back. Yeah, I don't know, Jay. What do you want to do tonight, bro? I don't know if I want to go single player or do we want to go multiplayer? I don't know about Sea of Thieves, bro. Like, I'd rather just wait till we're on a desktop. And we had a pretty bad run last night. I ain't gonna lie. Kind of, but it is what it is, man. We had some pretty desperate pirates who just wanted to sink ships, and that was not very nice of them. All right, guys, we gotta cut it short. Let's get going. Yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next broadcast. You know, yeah, it was pretty bad, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Even the night before was a lot better. I'm gonna be honest. My personal opinion, we shouldn't have initiated the battle. We should have just left. First of all, we were on a galleon. A galleon is much harder to defend than a sloop. I like slooping, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. Slooping is my thing. I'm not really a galleon person. I don't like the bulky, over large ship. It's harder to do the anchor. It's harder to do the sails. It's just, and there's so much more running around. It's a lot of work, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm lazy, guys. I don't really just want to sit there and be handicapped with like the sails and anchor. Like, it should just go up the same way as a sloop. But if that was the case, everybody would just be galleoning up, you know. Other than that, though, guys, yeah, that's it for me. So I'm out of here. So I'll catch you guys in the next broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.